live from Cherryville, North Carolina at our headquarters, big old HQ, and it is drum roll episode 100. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I wish I had
we're
some
just happy
special
we made
music
it to
together.
100.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, I know, something
some type
that-
of celebration music.
But you got to be careful with that.
Right, it'll get knocked off of whatever.
Exactly. They'll take
What?
us off right before it even started.
Okay.
So we're episode 100 today, and
I've got
it's-
something special for Hunter that he don't know what we're doing, but we'll get to it. in
Yeah, I have
just
no
a
idea.
minute.
Now that
Just
you
a
said
minute.
that, I have no idea. The one thing I was getting ready to do was just to see how I did on my picks this weekend. I was getting ready to just look at the full slate scoreboard.
You can talk about your picks for a minute while I get a couple things said.
No. I mean, I don't have to talk about them. I just was
Were
gonna.
they good, bad?
I think a lot of them were actually really good.
I'm not going to make my cuts till later in the week, so I was just wondering.
I will say this, in fairness of the NFL pick that me and Tom both liked on the Bills. I think that one should be, kind of a mulligan. Because I was not expecting Kyler Murray's Hail Mary at the end of a game
Well, nobody
to
was.
just actually land in DeAndre Hopkins' big ass hands. He went in between three people and grabbed that shit. I watched it. I was out to eat and I was watching it, and I was so happy that they had the Bills threw the go-ahead touchdown to Diggs. I was like, it's a great throw by Josh Allen, great grab by Diggs. I was so happy, and then that shit happened, and my jaw literally just was like, it just hit the floor. I was like, there's no way, there's no way he grabbed that in between three players.
It was an outstanding catch, absolutely. Makes you wonder just how bad the defenders were. What
You mean to tell me you couldn't have at least gotten more of a hand on it and knock it out of his hands while he was coming down?
Right.
I guess that just goes to show how strong DeAndre Hopkins' hands are.
Maybe. That was, to me, that was defensive wise. Like I said, Hunter, all you got to do is knock it down. Just get a hand on it. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. You had one job. Did you do it? No, not at all.
That's pretty exciting. What about college football?
College football. North Carolina becomes the best team in North Carolina. There you go. That was a tweet put out by the ACC network.
What horseshit?
It about sent Kevin into a freaking fizzle.
You're so stupid.
Look, Kevin, I just can't help that out of the ACC teams in North Carolina, North Carolina,
You're right.
Yes,
You're 100%
is the
right.
best.
They should have put that caveat.
Yes,
Then I would have had nothing to say.
I agree with that.
Okay, as long as we're on the same page.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that. I feel like that's because I had to look at that too, and I knew as soon as you sent it to us, you were going to be up in arms about it. I was like, yeah, okay, I understand, but let me twist this around to where technically the tweet is not wrong because it only showed North Carolina, Duke, NC State, and Wake, which are all, and it's from the ACC network. They're not going to talk about any other conference. So, therefore, by the information given to us by the ACC network, yes, North Carolina is the best ACC school in the state of North Carolina.
All right.
They are the ones that have just defeated everybody.
Do you know if you were the smartest hamster in a cage,
Yes.
that you're still a fucking hamster? I didn't know if you knew that. Another way I like putting it is that, so you're telling me you're the best smelling turd in the toilet bowl.
Oh.
Is that what you're telling me?
You're telling me that you're calling all of them turds?
The ACC is a big turd bucket of football.
Kevin,
I will say.
I can't help that you guys just play in an inferior conference.
So yeah, I go and read. I went and read the comments and stuff. And that was a lot of people were saying like, and the app fans were like, we just played you last year,
right?
They were like, you wouldn't play us again. I'm like, no, you wouldn't play us again. Wisconsin got rid of us to play some other team too. And then who'd Carolina sign up with? Western Carolina? They got Western instead.
It's over because the Charlotte game was canceled. So they replaced the Charlotte game.
Right. They placed Apple Charlotte and then had to replace Charlotte with someone else.
I'm gonna tell you what, Kevin. I'm just going down this list, and so far, I've only missed 2 of my college picks.
So we should call you Butter because you're on a roll.
Yeah, I missed 3. Now I've hit a rock. I didn't miss this one though.
But see, the
Or no,
key
I
is
I missed
did
this
you
one.
miss it on video?
On video?
with the comments.
With the comments, I don't know if you got me. Because, see, while they were going through, I would just go through here and write them down because I like to just kind of keep track.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, I really don't know. I didn't pick all of them. I do like this.
I like my new artwork.
I do like this. It's fun. You love to see it. Now, anybody out there, please don't, have a stroke from all these bright lights just going in and out on the screen.
Episode 100. That's what I got. I got to get a cool 100 graphic to put up there for us.
Cool. 100, 100, 100, 100.
So, yeah, this weekend just kind of Masters weekend. What we touch on that just a little bit. It wasn't much of a tournament.
Am I blind?
Maybe.
I'm looking at this, and where's the Northwestern game?
Was that one canceled?
Was it canceled?
There's a bunch of Big Ten games.
I know, but
ACC games. I know.
Oh well, I don't think it was.
Is that the new one I just gave you?
Yes, this is the new one.
Yeah, it's got Central Michigan.
Central Michigan is on there.
Okay.
I'll just skip over it until I can find it. I'm sitting here like I wouldn't have picked it if it wasn't going to be played.
Right.
And so if it had to have been played.
So today we're going to kind of touch on some big news and
it was
and
played.
News
I
and
see
topics.
it now. Ooh, I got it right.
And then we're going to do a special something or other. Just it's going to make Hunter mad probably, but
it's going to make me mad.
Not mad. It's just you're going to be like, oh, I feel that exasperation.
An exasperation.
I do. I don't know why, but I do.
Well, then what is it? You just want to knock it out of the way?
We're going to talk about our college football things too.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, let's start there. No, we can't just knock out of the way what I'm going to do. It's pretty much the whole show.
Oh.
There's no knocking it out of the way.
I
just wanted to touch on all the basic topics of the week. Masters. Dustin Johnson runs away with it.
So you want to start there with the Masters?
Yeah, absolutely.
He did. That course had nothing for him.
Was the world more excited about? What was the golf fans? More. Did they talk the most about?
How good he did, or his wife?
Masters in November. I was going to get to that. Masters in November. DeChambeau blowing up. Tiger blowing up.
What was it? What do they call that? What kind of bogey was it? It was a. I saw someone.
Quintuple.
I was going to say, they used a special word for it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, man.
Quintuple. Or Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law winning the Masters. You know who that is, don't you?
I know, yes.
Yeah.
I know who Wayne Gretzky is, yes.
Yeah.
I know that he's married to her. Yeah, his
Wayne
daughter.
Gretzky's
The
son.
problem is, I didn't see a lot of people really saying Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law won the Masters. I saw a lot of people zooming in on the picture of him and his wife walking up for him to get his jacket, and his hand's just all over her ass.
Mm-hmm.
He is a proud man.
So
he does not care.
Well, the rumor mill on tour is Dustin Johnson is a ladies' man. In fact, he's a ladies' man with some of the tour players' wives. Was the things of the past few years. That was the big thing.
Even goal, and even as a goalie in hockey.
A lot of people were saying that's why
soccer.
He's not winning the big ones is because he's just either cursed or karma. Or
it's only like his second major.
Right. So Tiger had to put the coat on him, right?
Yes.
Tiger has had a relationship with his wife. Rumors were that she was one of the ladies that Tiger dated at some point. So how weird is that? The guy putting on your Masters has
put it on your wife.
Maybe slept with your wife. Thanks, bruh. Like, what do you say?
It's like, yeah, you can
There's
do this.
So much to touch there that could get me and Hunter in trouble with this world.
It's like you can put that jacket on me, but it's fade on sight if you come around near me any other time. All right, like.
Oh God. So people were asking about her green jacket and everything.
She was wearing a green jacket.
So it is actually part. I read on the tweeter. That Johnson's apparel deal does include her at the golf course. So she was dressed by Adidas in what she was wearing. That was not her, that's not exactly her choice. Maybe she would have wore that, but that was definitely Adidas actually paying her to wear that jacket. And that was the big talk online.
She was already in the green jacket.
There were guys like acting like they were her and posing in some of her old pictures and talking about they want the green jacket too, and that they in men's size. They don't care if it's women's or men's size.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of. I got a text or two from a few folks, Hunter, talking about Paulina Gretzky, the great ones.
The great
ones.
one.
And we're going to talk about the great one here in just a little bit, whether Hunter knew it or not.
Oh my God!
What?
Now I have to know what we're doing.
We'll get to it. So let's talk about some headlines going across the board. So Dustin Johnson wins the Masters. He was actually my pick, so I usually don't like. It's hard to pick a golf winner. I'm kind of proud of that one. He led from start to finish. Sometime or another, he's got to win. That course is made for him. He's consistent. Some of the other guys, they
he doesn't make
up.
mistakes.
Yeah, not much.
He doesn't
he's
make
always
many
in,
mistakes.
he seems like he's always in there. And so I'm thinking in November.
He was the number 1 ranked golfer in the world at the time anyway. Okay. So you would have figured he would have been the favorite.
Did I see that he hadn't had a round over par this year? Did you see that? It's like he hasn't didn't shoot a round over par this year. And so,
shitty. Well, it's 2020, a shitty year.
Well, either way, that's still amazing. And so Saturday or Sunday going in the tournament, texting friends, I'm like, so 4 guys have shot 65 so far, and Dustin Johnson's got 2 of them. He's going to need to shoot. If he shoots par on Sunday, the guy in second would have had to shoot 67.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he goes 2 under Dustin,
the
guy has to shoot just as good as everybody else did, and it just wasn't going to happen. November, I did notice something that was kind of weird. For watching pros play golf, is pine needles on the greens. I don't know if you noticed any of that, but
I don't think I was looking enough.
They had to clear the pine needles off the greens for their putts because I'm sure they've never had to do that before in April.
No.
So that was kind of weird, or I thought, because it would affect the shots coming into the green more than your putts. Your putts you can clear the lane, but the shots coming in the green, the spinning off the side, the breaks, that course is so undulated and so fast that
I don't
so.
watch the Masters nearly enough to be able to say, or at least have an answer to the question that I want to pose to you. Do you think the course played better in April or in November?
I don't know if I can say better as much as I can say different. So here's your case. So in April...
Well, let me not say, better. Was it easier for the golfers?
I wouldn't think it would be.
Well, for Dustin Johnson, it was easy.
Right. I would have thought it would have been harder. Harder. I would be thinking harder ground, colder air. But Johnson set the Masters. Nobody's ever shot 20 under at the Masters, so he did that. What I would, to me, Hunter, what I'm thinking in April, the ground is softer. You have more rain, and a lot of guys like the shot makers, like you can hit it close and stick shots, and those guys do well in the Masters.
Well, we did see a lot of them that if they hit even on the green, they would just roll. Still, there's not many times they would just sit there and die.
I'm just wondering if there was any different setup green-wise as you would in April because of the grass is obviously going to be a little bit different. I don't know.
And obviously I posed that question because somebody going forward has to pose the question, could we not just make this an every other year thing, playing in November? Or is it just going to go always back to April?
Just leave in April. Just think, we're 5 months away from the next Masters.
True. We're not that far.
It's just 5 months away.
Yeah.
You can have all your azaleas back. We're about to find out. The weird thing about it, I'll say this, that was watching it in the fall, CBS didn't have a football game.
Oh, I know. They didn't at all.
So you had
everything
to go,
was on Fox.
If you don't have, the ticket or whatever and looking for games, only one game was on, and then Dustin Johnson's blowing people out. So you're just like...
You weren't really. People were
that or watch Tampa blow the Panthers out.
Yeah, I was going to say, people probably just tuned in to either try and see Dustin Johnson blow up,
just hoping for
choke
a double bogey,
and hoping he chokes it out, or they were just watching a football game that they really didn't want to watch. But that's the only thing that was being shown in their area.
Well, Tiger got a 10.
He did. Yeah, he did.
So some folks, just talking about whether he's going to win again. I don't know. The Masters sets up for him. because there's almost no out of bounds hunter.
Yeah.
And then when you do miss, if you'll notice, it's just nothing but flat pine needles.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can get, once you get in trouble, getting out isn't that hard. So I don't think a lot of guys don't lose. They'll lose one stroke, but they don't lose like three on a hole a lot of times. And then Tiger hit it in the water twice or three times, and so he went on 10 Cup on us. You seen that movie, by the way?
What?
10 Cup.
10 Cup?
Right.
No.
That's another put on Hunter's list of movies.
Have you ever seen The Greatest Game Ever Played?
Is that the one with go ahead.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Yes, that's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
I
really
could
like
not
that
think
movie.
his name for what. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
You would love 10 Cup. It's a comedy.
I've watched
Put it this
Caddyshack.
way, it's a rom-com golf.
Oh,
it's not really
okay.
romantic, but there is. You know how they got to add that to the story.
Yeah.
Basically, the story is about Hunter, and I can't. Hunter's only 25 or 24, so there's a lot of movies he hasn't seen that I've come across, like Ace Ventura, or who else?
That's just by choice because I watched the stupid kids one that they made years ago,
right?
and I was like,
the real
this
one
is dumb.
is hilarious. So, 10 Cup is Kevin Costner,
Okay.
and he's a driving range pro in Texas. There's nothing but armadillos and tumbleweeds on his driving range, and he lives in the RV on the driving range with Cheech Marin. So you know who Cheech is,
I know
right?
Cheech is, yeah.
All right. Cheech is his caddy. So
is he high?
no, he doesn't in this movie.
What?
Now that I think about it, no. So he basically he's a head case, and he hates this guy who happens to be. You've seen Happy Gilmore, right?
Yeah.
You know Shooter McGavin. There's a
Oh,
character kind of like in this movie, kind of like Shooter.
Okay.
So I think that's where they actually
I
stole
was gonna say,
the
like
character
the
from.
three golf movies that I've watched. Of course, Greatest Game Ever Played is my favorite,
That's a really good movie.
and then Happy Gilmore, and then Caddyshack.
Okay, this one's good too. This would be your Mount Rushmore of golf movies.
There you go.
I think.
There you go.
So
That would be the fourth one I've seen, so
yes,
it would
that
make
be your
it.
fourth one. So anyway, to make a long story short, there's a antagonist character, and his nickname, the Kevin Costner's nickname is 10 Cup.
Right.
It has nothing to do with golf. It's because when he used to play baseball, he had a 10 Cup and he was a catcher, and it would hit it and go, it would go dang. It would make the sound like clang, clang. And they asked him in the movie, well, why do they call you 10 Cup? And he said it was better than clank. So anyway,
Oh man.
so 10 Cup can drive the ball really far, and he's a head
Happy.
case. He's kind of like
He's
kind of
happy.
like a John Daly character. Is
Okay.
what this is. But he's not that big like Kevin Costner. You know, he smokes cigarettes, whatever. But some of the you got some of the funniest lines ever. So he got to Shanks in the movie, and this is where kind of the romance comes in. He falls in love with a sports psychologist. So, but anyway, he gets to Shanks, and they're and he qualifies for the U.S. Open. Now, here's how he qualified for the U.S. Open. He got mad because his caddy told him to hit a three to lay up, and he wanted to go for it.
Yeah.
But that's his thing. He always goes for it. So he got pissed, Hunter, and broke every club in his bag but the 7-iron, and qualified for the U.S. Open on the back nine with a 7-iron.
7-iron.
So one of the things he makes this bet with the old, it ain't Shooter, but that's what I'm gonna call him. His name's David something or other. But old Shooter makes a bet with him that who can drive it the furthest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner gets to each other's car. Well, 10 Cup hits a 7-iron about 180, which is 200, which is really good. Well, this guy turns around because they didn't make the bet where the ball had to go.
Yeah.
Hit it down the street. Click, 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 click down the street. He pulls off in his
in his car.
So he ain't got nothing, but he needs a ride back home. But anyway, he qualified for the U.S. Open. He's on the tee box, and he's got the shanks. And so you know what a shank is?
Yes.
So you hit it, just goes
Just
dead right.
Yes.
So the first
a lot of my drives.
the
yes.
first two or three, like he hits one that stays on the tee box and like almost hits the other guys. And so Cheech has him put all of his change in his left pocket, turns his hat backwards, everything coming out of his left ear, and he goes, I look like a moron. And one of my favorite lines is that you don't look no more dumber than hitting chili dippers up Lee Jansen's ass. So that's one of my favorite lines on the golf course is hitting chili dippers up Lee Jansen's ass. But the basic of the story is, you know how I said he always goes for it?
Mm-hmm.
So he's in this tournament caddying for the guys, and Craig Stadler, he's a golfer there, and something happens on the course, and Tin Cup calls the other guy chicken for not going for it, and he's like, I bet Stadler bets him. He says, I bet my caddy can hit it on. He's like, if he does, he's fired. So he gets out there and hits it on during the pro-am and hits it on, and they fired him right there. And so basically he makes the U.S. Open, and he ends up going. You know, he basically get down to the chance to win it, Hunter, and he has to decide to lay up or go for it. What do you think he did?
Went for it.
Yeah. He ended up going for it 6 times. And on like the seventh time, which was like a 12, he hold it. For the greatest 12 in U.S. Open history.
There you go.
But it's a good movie. Hilarious. Get to Tin Cup. Clank. Better than Clank, Hunter, is what he says. All right, folks, real quick, let's do our college football. I got a surprise, Hunter. Have you looked at that sheet yet? Have you looked at the sheet yet? Magic sheet.
The new team?
There is a change based on what's going on.
There are 2 new teams.
There is a change. There's a team not in it.
I know.
That would shock the nation.
I know. There are 2 new teams. That's what I meant.
2, 3,
go.
There we go, folks. This is the KTC Broadcasting Shock Joxx playoff bracket right now. Hunter, what's missing from the playoff bracket?
Some would say it's a certain Big Ten team.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a Big Ten team on there, and as a matter of fact, I see 2 Big Ten teams.
If you can't qualify, you can't be in it, Hunter.
So, I guess I'll just come out and say it. I believe they like to call themselves the Walnuts. Or, I'm sorry, no, the
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Where is the love?
The Brutuses.
Should the Black Eyed Peas be like that should be the only music the band plays.
But they're not black-eyed. They're brown.
Buckeyed.
The Buckeyed Peas.
Yeah.
That should be the name of just the band.
The Buckeyed Peas.
Yeah. And now, the halftime show.
The marching band.
That's what I meant. The marching band, yeah. The
That's
Buckeyed Peas.
I like that.
There you go.
Definitely.
But yes, the Ohio State University
is not on my sheet.
On your sheet.
Now, why is that, Hunter?
And that's because they didn't play this weekend.
They don't have enough games to qualify.
They've only had 2 games.
If the season ended today, Indiana would get the playoff spot in the Big Ten championship game. And folks, that's the only way we can do it. We can't just give spots. And they would be playing Northwestern.
Yeah.
So Ohio State would not be in our playoff bracket this time. Now, here's one thing about the rankings, Hunter, that we're going to talk about in a minute, the real rankings, is, you know, the biggest question, I think, in college football especially, is do you rank them by who do you think the best team is, or do you rank them by who do you think has had the best season and who deserves to be ranked there? Because I'm going to get to a question in a minute for you and see if you can answer it. And I know you won't be able to because it's college football. But anyway, 1 through 5 right now, we got Alabama at 1, Notre Dame, the champion of the ACC, at 2, Indiana, the champion of the Big Ten, at 3 right now. Champion of the Pac-12 is Oregon, and the Big 12, Iowa State. Those are your top 5 seeds. At the 6th seed, now these go to the loser, second-place team in the Power 5 with the highest ranking if it's not in the conference championship game. Some teams don't have conference championship games. So if you're not in the conference championship game, you can't get in, and that is why Ohio State is not on this list, folks, because Indiana would get in over Ohio State and have to play Northwestern right now. Looking at those 2 schools, Hunter, and who they've played and who they've lost to, why is Northwestern not ranked where Indiana is right now, and Indiana not ranked higher? Northwestern has beaten better teams than Indiana has, and they're both undefeated in the Big Ten. This is the North Carolina, Florida State. Well, Indiana ain't even a big-name team. That's what's weird about it.
No.
So, is that because of the preseason rankings?
Well, I mean, I can make the same argument as why is Wisconsin ranked 12th and actually 10th in your AP. They only played 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Now they had a huge win this weekend. They smoked Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan is 0-3 for the first time in I don't know how long. But at the same time, I know what you're talking about. Ohio State, for some reason, canceled the game completely. Is not even going to try and make it up. I think that's going to hurt them going forward because you're going to be looking at it then. Say Indiana does go undefeated. It's going to be tough, though.
How many games is Ohio State going to play? 6?
No, 7. They're playing 8 in the Big Ten. So if they're missing this one, they're only going to have 7.
Yeah.
But Wisconsin has missed 2. Wisconsin has only played 2. I don't know if they're going to be able to make theirs up where they might only have 6.
Didn't Tom say you had to have 6 games to qualify for the Big Ten?
Playoff at least.
Yeah.
Or the Big Ten championship.
Right.
Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be all in flux, though, because coming up next week, it's Ohio State, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
They play each other.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And if Indiana wins, Ohio State will be ranked 10th. And if Ohio State wins, Indiana will be ranked 20th.
Yeah, probably. More than likely. It's just weird, looking forward and how they do these rankings. I feel like Ohio State, I knew it was going to be a problem when they hadn't even played and they were still ranked 5th in the nation. So they have them still at 30 without them even playing this week. But if you look at overall record, they're not even in first in the Big Ten.
All right, so who do you think has better wins? You know more about college football than I do on this. So Indiana has beaten Penn State, Rutgers, Michigan, and Michigan State. Penn State, Rutgers, Michigan, and Michigan State. Northwestern has beaten Maryland, Iowa, Nebraska, and Purdue.
If you look at that just off of what their opponents have done on the season, Northwestern has better wins.
Okay.
But if you look at it strictly based off of names, Indiana has better wins. They beat Michigan, Michigan State. They've beaten Rutgers. Really doesn't count.
Indiana still has to play Ohio State and Wisconsin.
Right.
Northwestern, just Wisconsin.
Yes. So Indiana has the short end of the stick there. A lot of people are still predicting it to be Wisconsin and Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
But do not overlook Northwestern and Indiana. I'm not going to say what they're doing are fluky. I think the Big Ten as a whole is just in flux.
Look at our playoff brackets, Hunter. We got the number 7 team in the nation with an 11 seed. The number 8 team in the nation with a 16 seed.
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
Indiana's number 9 team in the nation gets the 3 seed. Clemson isn't even, not Clemson. Ohio State didn't even make it. Number 5, Texas A&M didn't even make it. The Gators are sitting there in our 7th spot. 8, Oklahoma State. 9, Northwestern. And 10, USC. 11 to Cincinnati. 12 to Marshall. 13 to Coastal. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I want to welcome some guys to the broadcast. Nevada is here. They were in last week. And then Central Michigan, Hunter, has taken over first place. What would you like, son? My son just walks in here. Yes. He's ate 3 hot dogs. Now he wants Doritos.
He's hungry.
I can do it. I was like,
Growing boy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go to Pound Town with
it.
With hot dogs. So I got Marshall in 12 and Coastal Carolina at 13. Hunter, this is such a weird situation. Like you were talking about on Twitter about Cincinnati and BYU dropping.
Yes.
Coastal got up to 15, won 2 games, and dropped.
Where are they at, 16th?
They're still tied at 15th in the AP. They're 18th in the coaches.
How the hell did that happen? Who did they put in front of them?
So they were 15th at 5-0.
Let me look and see.
Marshall jumped
So
them.
Oklahoma at 5-2, who has got 2 horrendous losses, and Ohio State, who's got 2 bad losses.
Iowa State, not Ohio.
Or I'm sorry, Iowa State are in front of Coastal Carolina.
Right. So now here's my question. So if Coastal Carolina is the 15th ranked best team,
did you see that though in the AP? They don't even have a number next to them.
Yeah, they're tied with Marshall.
How can you be tied?
They both got
for 15th. You just need to be just put the number next to them and say you're 16th. I'm sorry. There is no 15 at 1A, 15 2.
So here's your question, Hunter. Louisiana is ranked 24th. They were beat by App. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think they were beat by App. Let me make sure. Either way, Coastal plays App this weekend. Okay?
Yes.
If the voters... No, they got beat by Coastal. So the voters right now have Coastal tied...
With Marshall
at 15, right?
That's the AP, yes.
Right. App got beat by Marshall. If App beats Coastal... shouldn't App at least jump up into where Coastal was and in that spot? Not tied with Marshall, but at least 18 or 19 instead of jumping in at 25 or something like that.
I think you could throw them in right there at in the coaches poll at 18th. You could, because you'd still only have one loss, and you're better than a 4-2 Auburn.
You have to rank them ahead of Coastal wherever you put them.
You're better than a 5-2 Texas. I'll put you ahead of the 6-2 North Carolina because you will have only one loss at the time. So absolutely, the ones that are unacceptable are Oklahoma and Iowa State.
Yeah,
Oklahoma only has like one good win on the season, and it's Texas.
So how about
But
this,
even
Hunter?
Texas is not that great.
How about this? What other team in the nation could finish the season with only 2 losses and both of them be against undefeated teams? Nobody. They could finish the season with 2 losses and both of them end up against undefeated. What if Marshall and Coastal run the table and App's only 2 losses are against
Clemson could end up
teams?
with 2 losses and it'd be from the same undefeated team.
That's true.
But
the same one.
The
This
same
is 2
undefeated
different ones.
team.
Okay, and with that said, let's say Coastal does beat App. And I made this case last week about the Tar Heels losses.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd have the same number of losses. Tar Heels just give up 50 to Wake Forest without
In a win.
without an NFL wide receiver.
In a win.
In a win.
In a win.
Without their number 1 wide receiver. What would they put on if they had Sage? Golly, Chaz, your defense needs to do something. But my question, it's just, where does App belong in this equation? Because if you're good enough to beat Coastal, and Coastal's ranked 15th, do you jump above Louisiana and Coastal and end up like 19th or 20th because Marshall beat you? Or if you get beat by them, then you've got beat by 2 of the undefeated teams.
I don't know, because here's the problem.
It's crazy.
Here's the problem. The committees and the voters don't give a shit if you're a non-Power 5 team. It is apparent if they're sitting here and moved Coastal Carolina back in the coaches poll. The coaches even said you're undefeated, but 2 losses for Iowa State and Oklahoma make them better than you. It's the same thing looking at the 1-loss teams in front of Cincinnati and BYU. They don't give a shit. Liberty,
think about this.
Liberty just beat Virginia Tech in state at Virginia Tech.
Right. If they've got NC State this weekend, Hunter. Follow me on the schedule.
Yes.
Syracuse, Virginia Tech, NC State. That's Tar Heel winnings right there.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. You know who they finished with?
Western. No, they just played Western.
It's gonna get crunk in
Week
12.
It's Coastal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Coastal can win and beat App this week,
mm-hmm.
and it ends up Liberty and Coastal. Now Liberty and Coastal could both lose this weekend to App at NC State. Nobody would be surprised, I don't think.
Yeah, nobody would.
But if they continue to win, they could both meet undefeated December 5th, Liberty versus Coastal. And think about it. Both teams want to get in these playoffs, and they could knock each other out, and they're not even in the same division. They didn't have to play this game.
They didn't have to.
They ought to. You know what they ought to do?
Cancel it.
Yeah.
COVID.
If both of them are undefeated with 1
At
week to
this
go,
time,
we got Corona, boys.
COVID, sorry.
See you guys in January.
We can't. I don't blame them. I don't
Wouldn't
blame
you?
them. I would. As much as the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are so quick to just cancel games, why would you not? Keep your undefeated season.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I cannot, and I'm happy that they're going undefeated and they're at least getting some national recognition, especially Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is getting a lot of national recognition because this is only, I think, their 3rd or 4th year in FBS. Mm-hmm. They just moved up. So for them to go undefeated right now, if they do, is looking really good for them and probably recruiting-wise going forward. But what I will not continue to stand for is the blatant disrespect for a Cincinnati and BYU team in the top 10. No, absolutely not. You have a 1-loss A&M and a 1-loss Florida in front of them. Great. Cool. I'm okay. 1-loss Clemson's even in front of them. Clemson lost to Notre Dame. A&M lost to Alabama. And Florida lost to A&M. I get it. They're all right there in the same mix of it. But I've said this for weeks now. They have said, even when it went back to the bowl series, not even the playoffs, if you want to have an opportunity to play for a national championship, you have to go undefeated. So it doesn't matter who you play. Doesn't matter if you're in a little weak cupcake conference or schedule cupcake teams a la Alabama's, A&M's, Ohio State's for your non-conference games. It don't matter. You play who's on your schedule, and if you go undefeated, you should have an opportunity to play for a national championship. And that's exactly that's exactly what Cincinnati and BYU are doing. So for the Cincinnati Bearcats and the BYU Cougar fans out there, I am on your side. I am. I get it. And this is coming from somebody who loves SEC football and ACC football, even though I think the ACC is very weak, and that's why I never show any respect to Clemson. I don't. I just refuse to. It's super weak. Until this year, you've had nobody for competition until Notre Dame came in. But I'm just saying, all you've done is what in years past they have asked you to do, which is win. So, therefore, college football should be rewarding you, and it shouldn't have to come down to you pulling a Central Florida when the season is over and hanging your own national champion banner, saying, look, we went undefeated. We're really the national champions. So, yeah. I feel for you. I feel for you. I feel for them. I feel for Marshall and Coastal Carolina. Marshall is absolutely slaughtering everybody they play, but I don't think they'll ever get in the top 10 if they go undefeated. I think the highest they go is 12th, just on the outside looking in. That's just me. I think that's what happens to Marshall. Coastal, even if they go undefeated, I think they just get to 14th, just inside the top 15. Because what they're going to do is they're always going to look at these 2-loss Power 5 teams. What if Georgia goes on to run the table and they end up being 9-2? Well, they played, and I'm a Georgia fan. They played Murderers Row. They really did for a little while. It was ranked opponents week after week, but you still had 2 losses. Coastal's undefeated. Marshall's undefeated. Liberty could be undefeated. Liberty has been undefeated. They are 8-0. 1, 2. There are only 3 teams in the top 25 that are 8-0. Can you name them? So one of them's Liberty.
Say that again.
There are only
8-0?
Yes, 3 teams in the top 25 that are 8-0. One of them is Liberty.
I thought Liberty was the only one. Probably BYU.
That's 2.
And I don't know who the other one is.
The third one is Notre Dame. That is it. Those are the only teams that are 8-0 so far in college football. And guess what? Notre Dame, 2nd in the nation. BYU, 8th in the nation. Liberty, if you're looking at the coaches poll, they're 22nd. The AP poll, they're 21st. So they just stay right there. They're doing exactly what you're asking them to do. Win, and you're not rewarding them. Instead, you're going to have a 2-0 Southern Cal team at 20. They just showed up. Like 5-2 Oklahoma and 5-2 Iowa State. Let's look at that. Let's look at that really quick because that really gets to me. So we're going to look at the Oklahoma Sooners and who their 2 losses are. Kansas State and Iowa State. Okay. Those are decent losses, I guess. You can say it that way. But let's look at Iowa State. Iowa State, so we know they've beaten Oklahoma at least once. If it would load. But if I'm not mistaken, Iowa State's got a couple bad losses. So Iowa State is 5-2. They're in front of the undefeateds. Their loss was at the beginning of the year to University of Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns. That don't look real good. And their other losses to, right now, the leader in the Big 12, Oklahoma State. But you still lost to Louisiana Monroe. Or not you at Louisiana Monroe, just University of Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns. You lost to the Ragin' Cajuns, who you were favored to beat at home. It wasn't even like you were in Louisiana. You were at home. So if anything, you being 5-2 and in front of these undefeated teams, there's no way in hell. No shot. There should be no shot. I feel for you small schools. I really do. But going forward, they're never going to agree with our picks. They'll never do it.
No, because if Ohio State missed, they would lose their ever-loving mind.
I know. That's what I get it. I get it. That's exactly how it's going to be.
But what that does, Hunter, that does illustrate what a lot of people have problems with college football in general is that the sport takes people's opinions rather than what you earned.
The sport
what we're doing is what you earn.
The sport is every bit. The sport is every bit elitist.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
really is.
That's
It is elitist. It's
That's a
if you're
good
not
way
a
to look at
power
that.
if you're not a Power 5 school, then hey, that's just how it is.
Well, App gets their noses snubbed up to them by Carolina fans. Like, and I was sitting there looking at that stuff, Hunter. Like, they're talking about y'all couldn't win this, y'all couldn't play in the ACC. And I look at you know when Carolina's last ACC championship was 1980. So for 40 years you ain't won shit, and you've got the audacity to say that this team is better than you.
Whoa.
And you ain't won
We
nothing.
have national championships
At what?
in basketball.
Okay.
though. Like, I mean, come on now.
That's
We're still
that's nice.
we have national championships in almost every
we do it in
sport
football.
except football.
And we do it in football.
That's the one. That's the only downside. Yeah, but you just now joined the Division I party a few years ago.
We've been in Division One.
Well, you were double A? One
It's-
double A.
It's not our fault that everybody's scared to play us. You saw what happened this year. All right, Hunter. It's our it's our 100th episode,
It is.
and we didn't get any guests or anything, and so I was thinking, should we do Mount Rushmores? What should we do?
So out of all of the picks that I made last week, NFL and college included, I only missed 8.
Okay.
I think
Nah.
that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Now you start putting some money on it.
Look, man, I would.
So, Hunter, what I want to do in honor of our 100th episode with no guest, we're going to
Oh my God.
name the top 100 athletes of all time.
Oh my God. What time is it? All right,
We got plenty of time.
we got time. If we're starting this
So-
now, yes, we have time.
So what I'm going to do, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, we're going to try to do 20 in football, basketball, and baseball, and then 5 in other types of sports and see where we get to. Okay? So this is going to be, there shouldn't be a debate. Like if one of us says no, it should be like, no, let's take them off type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, if you disagree or there's someone you're like, I don't know about that, let's take them off. But so we're going to go, we'll start with 20 in football, basketball, and baseball. And then the rest of them we'll do
Okay.
5. And then that'll get us to 90. And
Okay.
then we can go with anybody that we think we may have
I
missed
know,
or
and I
something.
know it's athletes, but we're not just talking straight athleticism. We're just talking about overall who you would take playing the game. We're not. Yeah.
If you're making a Hall of Fame, basically,
Okay.
you've got to put these people in the Hall of Fame where there's aliens are landing on the planet tomorrow, Hunter, and we've got to explain to them. These are 100.
Well, me and
best.
you can agree on one off the rip, and you know probably who I was gonna say.
Babe Ruth.
No, but we can. But we can also agree on that one. It's Michael. You can go ahead and put Michael Jordan down under the basketball. Like that's undeniable.
You know what else is undeniable? That LeBron will go under basketball and not Olympian.
Okay.
You got to give me that
Right.
one, Hunter.
You're
that was
right.
a good
Okay.
joke.
That was
a good joke.
Yes, LeBron will go under basketball and not Olympian.
Olympian.
So we can go ahead. We could probably knock the basketball one out really
If you want to go
fast.
name 20.
We could probably name 20.
All right, I'll start.
We
and then
could
we'll
pro-
let you see.
Wilt, Russell, Bird, Magic, LeBron. Just go ahead and put LBJ or whatever. LeBron, Shaq, David Robinson.
I think so.
You'd put Robinson down before Tim Duncan.
I ain't putting them down. I'm just naming people. I need to put the word rap on, however that works. How do you do word rap?
I don't know if you do word rapping. Rap to. You got to pull the
Just
margin
got to wrap
back.
the window. There we go. Oops. Abdul-Jabbar.
ABD. You could have just put Kareem. Then we gotta know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Kobe.
How many I got, Hunter? I need you to count. So I got Jordan, Wilt, Russell, Matt Bird, Magic, LeBron, Shaq, David Robinson, Barkley, Abdul-Jabbar, Durant, Kobe, Duncan, Olajuwon, West, and Oscar.
How many were we supposed to have per?
20
20
to
per?
start, yeah.
Oh,
How many is
okay.
that?
I can't really count
1, 2,
that.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 16. There's 4 more off the top of your head
Steph.
that we need. So you think Curry's top 20 all
I
time?
think Curry because of what he did to the game. Everybody will say it all the time. Sure, he's got the rings, but he changed the game by making the 3-point shot cool.
I know somebody's probably yelling at us that we're missing somebody. Steve Nash is a 2-time MVP. Just thinking.
You just
Like
thinking
that.
you would put Scotty?
No,
You wouldn't put Scotty?
no. He made the top 50 players. I'm not sure he makes it. Put it this way, Hunter. Scotty's the type of player that if I've got Jordan on my team, like he's the same player as LeBron, but a better defender almost. To where, like, but he's not as good offensively. Like I don't know. Scotty's a lot. I don't know if he would make. He definitely. I don't know if he'd make top 50 now. Like he's like if I go to the park with him and I got 4 guys that can play, I want Scotty on my team to dribble the ball up and guard the other guy. And he don't even have to score. Is my point with him. He's a weird player to where he might be top 5, 10 defensively, but offensively, I don't know if that adds up to it or not. He's a weird. I wouldn't go 20. We would probably put him in the 50, but I don't know 20.
Could you make an argument for Stockton?
That was on the top of that was kind of on my head. I was about to ask the question, all-time steals and assist leader. Does Stockton get on that list?
And do you bring up the mailman? He's all-time points leader.
Let's put him on and see what happens. We'll go Malone, Stockton, Iverson.
I like Iverson. So what are we at right now? That should be 20, right?
Isaiah Thomas. We may even go to 25 on them just to make. Oh God, I forgot about him. Number 6 all-time leading scorer, Dirk. Chris Paul, no. Jason Kidd, probably not. Gary Payton, no. I mean, these
Wade?
top 20. D-Wade's got a case or an argument. Some people aren't D-Wade fans.
He's 3 rings.
Think about D-Wade. Think about this. Shaq, when he left, he's the only person he won a championship with. Shaq didn't win a championship without the best shooting guard in the NBA, whether it was Kobe or D-Wade. He didn't win without that. Now, D-Wade, when he played the Mavericks with Shaq, he beat him. When he played the Mavericks with LeBron and Bosh, he got beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't that have to put Shaq ahead of LeBron right there when they both got 4 winning rings just alone? Is that what? Me and Wade,
Right.
we beat the Mavericks. You and Wade got smoked by the Mavericks.
I don't know. It's tough because if we have to keep it, what makes it so tough is we're on a constraint. We have the 100 greatest athletes, and as of right now, I think we're at 22 already.
Right. We can leave it right
and
there and go to
there
another
are so
sport.
many we could do for football and baseball.
Yeah, we're about to.
Okay, so that's fine.
We forgot Dr. J.
we should have done it this way.
I'm going to leave those
We
there
should have
for
done
now.
it this way. We pay homage to those of like the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s first. The ones that are considered they built basketball to what it is.
That's 23 right now, Hunter. So we're going to stay there.
That's fine.
That's a good magic number since it's Michael's number and not LeBron's number.
20.
Can I not type today?
I don't know what you're trying to type.
There we
All
go.
right, so there's
All
23.
right, let's go to football.
Football.
I'm just
Tom.
going to let you name people for a minute, and then
Tom.
I'll see if you can name 10 people.
Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Dion. We literally could do this whole list just right here.
Mm-hmm.
Montana.
Oh, you talk about it over
Yeah,
here?
right here.
Well, you just give me 10 names, and then I'll do the other. I'll do the
Montana.
other 10 that you probably missed.
Okay, Montana. Rice. Emmett.
I mean, you could cheat and look at that list.
I know.
behind me if you
I'm
want.
trying to think outside. I'm trying to think of outside of just the quarterbacks, but I know they're the face. So okay, Lawrence Taylor. There you go. I'm fine with that.
We'll go LT
Reggie White. Okay.
and Bruce Smith. So you've got to have that on your line, on your D line. people will say Barry Sanders and Walter Payton. If you're taking the top 3 running backs, you can take Emmett, Peyton Sanders, and Jim Brown and have a pretty good setup there. Defensive, the best defenders ever, I would go Dion,
Charles Woodson
Lawrence Taylor.
for safety.
Man, I don't know if he's top 20 all time, Hunter, but he's really good. Same thing with Rod Woodson at safety. I'm thinking Charles Haley. I'm gonna have to put him down, Hunter. You know why? Number one, besides he's a really good rusher, he's got He's got the most Super Bowls besides Brady. It's Charles Haley. So, a lot of people didn't like him.
See,
He's a little bit of a nut.
Tough though, because we could go rings, or if you don't want to go rings, I have to put Randy on this list.
That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He wants to go Moss.
Ed Reed. He's a Hall of Fame safety.
The newest people are hard. Let's do nominations on that. I could be talked into Ed Reed. I like safeties, but the problem is he the best safety? Is he better than Ronnie Lott? Is he better than Rod Woodson? Rod played corner and safety. Rod was considered the best corner, not named Dion, forever. So it maybe he is. What about other quarterbacks, Hunter? We've only got Brady and Montana on here.
I know, but we could populate that with quarterbacks. You could say Peyton, Breeze, Marino, everybody that we have on this list.
Well, let's do 5 quarterbacks since it's the most important position. So look back on that. So we're gonna go. We always had Unitas on there as one of the ones. So give me 2 more. We talked the other day about our all time. Are we talking?
You can put Marino.
And 1 more. So right now you're thinking Elway, Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers, Steve Young, Kurt Warner, Aitman, Peyton Manning, Terry Bradshaw, Drew Brees.
People are going to be very mad at me for doing this, but put Drew Brees on there. Gronk. Okay, yeah. Just put Brees. I'm putting Brees over Manning. And it's not because, obviously, Manning has more Super Bowls. Brees has got more accolades.
I know we probably shouldn't do it, but let's go no offensive lineman on this. But we may go to 30 on football, half-field football, just to get, if we do add a lineman, because that's just something hard to do. I'm just trying to think, defensive playmakers.
We would already be at 53 players, and we haven't even touched the other ones.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 10, 1. That's Walter Payton, not Walter and Payton. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 17 on the football right now. So nominations, Ed Reed, Rod, and Charles Woodson.
You can put Manning. Peyton.
Peppers. Manning. Singletary. Derek Thomas. I'm just trying. Any other wide receivers? Are you looking at T.O.? Are you looking?
You could put nomination for T.O. and Fitz, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
reliable.
Fitz.
We put Gronk on there, but how do we keep Tony Gonzalez off?
The difference between the two, Hunter,
Gronk has got rings.
You're 100% right. It does, and I would 100% agree with you. Tony Gonzalez made, if not changed, the position. If Tony Gonzalez has 3 rings, we're talking about.
Yeah,
we definitely talk about him. I'll say this: if we're gonna put 2 tight ends, I'll put Gonzalez. But that's just putting in the top 20 players of all time. It's tough putting a tight end. But then again, I want to be accurate and respectful of everybody and make sure that we do name people. I'm just trying to think people that you might not have seen, like the Lawrence Taylors of the world and the Reggie Whites and the Derek Thomases. That were just outstanding.
See, it would be if I had to do it on my own, I would have to do the 2000s.
Right. I get you.
But I did get to see, obviously, Tony Gonzalez play still. And it's like when you put Gronk. Trust me, I think Gronk could go down as the greatest tight end of all time.
I think he is. I think it's hard to argue that.
But
he's not.
Tony has got.
He's got longevity.
He's got all the yards. I mean, he played forever. He didn't take a year off like Gronk did. It's tough. It's tough to when you speak tight ends and everybody wants to talk about Travis Kelce and George Kittle and Gronk, obviously for what they did for the tight end position, and not bring up Tony Gonzalez.
Hmm. I found a top 100 football players. I was gonna see if where Gonzalez, came in on that. This man right here has a lot of my heart. I'm gonna put him in the Bob Lilly, number 1 pick of the Cowboys' first pick. One of the best defensive tackles ever. They got him right there in front of Ed Reed, Hunter. They got Ed Reed at 33. If you were thinking about that, there's your Tony Gonzalez at 36. Like I feel you. If we're gonna put two guys, we'll come back to it in a few minutes and check it out. But the running backs have been big over the years. O.J. Simpson, Gale Sayers. You've got guys like Aaron Rodgers, who some believe he's the best passer they've seen.
I mean, it's
Aaron
tough.
Rodgers is this generation's Dan Marino, I would say.
It's tough for me.
Dan didn't win one.
It's tough for me also, as a new age kid, not to say Adrian Peterson wouldn't be on there. I mean, he's been a hell of a workhorse of a running back. He's chasing the ghost of Emmett. That's exactly what he's doing.
I was about to say, the problem with Adrian is I don't even know if he's made the Mount Rushmore of running backs yet.
LT. You talk about running backs.
We had the thing that's how many positions do you want to put on there? So running backs we've already got 4. Quarterbacks we've got
5.
Brady, Unitas, Marino, Breeze.
Or we might have only 4 with quarterbacks. That's the problem. Is the game has been so dominated name wise by those two positions,
right.
Even the wide receivers and usually pass rushers and corners. Nobody truly remembers linebackers unless their name is Ray Lewis. That's the one that really sticks out to everybody. LT was an edge rusher.
I mean, you can make the argument that Larry Allen, the left guard for the Cowboys, might have been the best football player of all time. Just by at your position, what you did the best, you can make that argument. And a lot of these guys, and that's why I wrote Gronk down on that, is because if you can go to your position, say you're number 1, there's a good chance you should probably be here. Like, so when I looked at who's the best linebacker ever, well, that's Lawrence Taylor. Who's the best defensive lineman ever? Was either Reggie White, Bruce Smith, and Julius Peppers got an argument.
Was he 3rd, 4th all time?
I think
sacks?
3rd. Peppers got that argument. And then when you talk about the linemen, you had so many great linemen with Jonathan Ogden's, the Anthony Munoz. Derek Thomas rated 86th on this one. That to me is just crazy. Palomalu is outstanding. They got Gronk at 89. Tony Dorsett for the Cowboys, he was the all-time leading rusher at one point, and then Walter Payton broke his record. A lot of people like Tony. How about Adam Vinatieri there, Hunter?
Put a kicker on there.
Darryl Green made the list. How about Bo Jackson, maybe Troy Aikman? Let's stop there for now. Then
Zach,
we'll come back.
My buddy Zach's commenting. He just texted me to remind me to check him, and I did. He said, "Yeah, Devin Hester. Devin Hester was great at what he did.
He's not a top 20 all time.
I don't know if he's a top 20 player of all time,
right?
But I can agree with you and say he might have been one of the greatest returners ever. And then Zach, we gotta wait. We gotta wait on putting J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald in these conversations. Aaron Donald is great,
right?
But when you look at the numbers of these guys from the 80s and the 90s,
he's not Bruce.
Like
we're not Bruce Smith yet.
Even Julius Peppers was 3rd on the all-time sacks list. Like, there are great players out there, and
you got that list?
What, the all-time sacks list? No,
okay,
I did not.
I'll pull it up.
I did not. It's just there are so many great players other than what we just see today.
I mean, not the defensive backs, Hunter. I think we've got 17 in there right now. I think I'm gonna lean towards both the Woodsons and Reed at some point, maybe to get in there, especially Derek Thomas. How about Kevin Green is 3rd. I was thinking Chris Dolman too, Michael Strahan, Jason Taylor, Terrell Suggs.
Jason Taylor was good, man. With them Dolphins,
big time sack names. for some of these
He was
people.
bald headed as could be too. Good Lord.
Von Miller's 25th all time. J.J. Watt is 34th all time in sacks right now.
What is Peppers officially that we're looking
Peppers
at?
is 4th.
He's
He's a
4th.
half a sack behind Kevin Green.
And he
finished.
retired.
Yeah.
And he didn't even try and get that half sack.
I bet he was trying. Don't you think? I bet he was trying a little bit. All right, let's go to baseball, and we'll come back to that. So baseball, here we go. This will be easy for a while.
Ruth, Pujols, Ken Griffey, Barry Bonds. I can tell you who's not going to be on this list, but we're not going to get into that. You gotta put Stretch on there. Got to put RJ over Randy Johnson.
All right, so you're gonna.
I'm going to personally say Randy Johnson will be on this for pitchers.
Okay, so real quick.
Now, if you're talking baseball and you're trying to say pitchers are not going to be in it because they couldn't hit,
That's a definite question.
because then we say, well, how does Big Papi
How many
make
pitchers
it?
do you want to put in? So how about this? Let's start with Mount Rushmore of pitchers, and then
Randy.
and then go from there.
So Randy's on mine.
I'm glad you say Randy and agree with it. A lot of people might not, but I do. I think he's the if that dude pitched in the 50s, like then come on, like really not that he would set all these records, but like he would be the greatest baseball legend of all time.
The only one that me and you that we don't agree on is Greg.
Right. I don't even know if he should be on the Braves. Just Mount Rushmore, much less the all-time pitchers. The pitchers, I would do this, Hunter. Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson,
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
Yes. It's always the fourth one.
Is it Sandy Koufax?
I was sitting here having
Is
him
it
in the back of my mind.
Is it Steve Carlton? Is it Roger Clemens?
I was going to say Roger Clemens.
Is it
Pedro Martinez?
No.
No?
No.
You don't know to the Pedro?
No. He's too small.
Oh, he's small.
What would have happened to Pedro if Robin Ventura would have ran out on him? Not the same thing that Nolan Ryan did. That's all I got to say about that.
Listen.
If he would have ran out on Pedro, he would have kicked his little ass.
All right. Oh, so you're telling me you're not going to put a closer in this position?
Here's a definite argument.
You're not going to put Mariano Rivera.
No, hell no. Here's a definite argument. What about Cy Young? The award is named after him. He's got 500 wins, which nobody's touching ever. Here's some of the nominations for that Google has. Nolan Ryan, Bob Gibson. We said him. They got Pedro, Verlander.
I told you.
Schilling, Cy Young, Randy Johnson.
Verlander. No. That World Series, not the one with Detroit, but the one in Houston is tainted. That was cheating.
Okay. I'm just telling you.
To me, that's cheating.
He wasn't hitting, though.
No. I know he wasn't hitting, but that Verlander, anybody on that Astros team is next to me now.
So here was some honorable. They put. Holy shit! This list I looked at, Major League Baseball's top 10 starting pitchers. This is not going to be our list, but they got Nolan Ryan as an honorable mention.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is he an honorable mention?
The all-time strikeout leader through 7 no-hitters, and he's an honorable mention.
I can tell you probably Gibson, who their number one is.
They got Maddox ahead of Bob Gibson. Clemens 8. If Maddox is ahead of Bob Gibson, it's just stupid.
Look at Clayton Kershaw.
There you go.
Now, Kershaw will have a conversation coming forward. The fact that he got over the hump and finally has a World Series gets in there because he's got regular season numbers for days.
Cy Young, Randy, Walter Johnson, and Christy Matthews. Those guys, we don't know anything about them and who they played against. But
Randy Johnson, to me, is a stud.
If you're going to go old, if you're going to put Babe Ruth on the list, you got to have Cy Young about. But looking at this list, Hunter, but based on ours, we didn't miss anybody. You're basically choosing Koufax or Kershaw. Hunter likes Maddox. I don't.
I like Maddox, but he's got.
I would take Clemens over Maddox.
He's got the most Gold Gloves.
Well, that's
like 17.
You know what that means?
I'm not mistaken.
You're not striking anybody because they're all chopping it back to you.
You're making the play.
Well, that's cute.
Making the play.
That's cute.
You're making the play. They still outs, aren't they?
All right, Hunter. Let's name some baseball players. So,
What
pitchers,
number are we at right now?
Well, 7 or 8.
No, I'm talking overall. 17, 23.
Pitchers, we only got 3 right now.
I'm talking about on the whole
40.
list.
We're at 45.
All right.
So we're on a good pace. We just got to fill in some blanks here in a minute as soon as we get some pitchers. So don't feel like you need to squeeze anybody or anything.
Okay. So are we finishing the pitchers, or are we
could just leave them there for now.
That's fine. Just leave the 3 because those are the ones. If you sit there and think of it, outside of maybe Sandy Koufax, that always comes to somebody's mind. You talk pitchers: Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson, and Nolan Ryan, easily. Everybody hates Pete Rose, and that's Ricky Henderson, is it not? That you just typed
Yes.
in. Okay, understand.
All-time steals, all-time hits, all-time homers, all-time RBIs are on the...
One of my best friends, I don't know if he's watching, but one of my best friends, his name is Logan, and he loved this guy growing up, and it was Ty Cobb.
Right, he should be on.
Ty Cobb should be on this. He said, yeah, that was one of his favorite players growing up, so Ty Cobb. It is going to be hard for me, and I'm not a Yankee sexual, to not put Derek Jeter on this list.
No, not top 20. Not even close.
Not even close?
Not even close.
The captain? Not even close?
Oh, fuck, who got voted the captain of the ship?
Huh?
No. Excuse me, he's cute. He's decent.
He's cute.
All right, I'll put it this way. He gets on if you let me put Ozzie Smith on.
I know. I agree with that one. A-Rod.
I'll put it. All right, Hunter. How about this?
A-Rod, if he plays shortstop in New York, he's more loved.
In my lifetime, starting with 1980, I was born in 82, but we'll say 80. My Mount Rushmore in the last 40 years is Pujols, Griffey, Bonds, and A-Rod.
I'm telling you. People.
Any argument on that?
No. I have no argument on that.
And you could almost say that's the best of all time. Because other people will be like, well, you got to put Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron in there. How about Willie Mays?
I'm like, well, we don't have to, but I'm glad that you think that.
So that's why I said
I just never understand the hate that A-Rod gets. I will never understand that.
And he plays shortstop, for God's sakes. Like
he played short and transitioned to third.
Good.
It's not one of those guys that where he got older, they moved him to the outfield just so they could keep his bat, or moved him to the DH
Right.
in the division that had the DH.
They moved him to third to make Jeter's feelings good. Jeter should have been at third, and A-Rod at shortstop. Everybody said it when he came over. The
Listen,
defensive stats and everything said
Derek
A-Rod should be
Jeter
at short.
wasn't even drafted 1-1. A-Rod was.
That's true.
A-Rod was 1-1.
So let's do some nominations. We're in the top. We're looking for 20. Right now I've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 right now in the baseball, Hunter. Any other names coming off the top of your list that have to be now? We can come back to some of these guys we've mentioned and argued about in a minute, but the people in the bubble. But I want to make sure we get people that have to be in there. So I just added Willie Mays. Is Cal Ripken Jr. a have to be? Is Ichiro a have to be? I think Lou Brock might have to be. He was the all-time steals leader.
You said Cal Ripken.
And had 3,000.
You said Junior, but we both know why he would have to be, and it's just because he's got the longest streak playing baseball.
Right.
But
is he one of the 20th best players? Probably not.
That's what I was about to say. Numbers-wise, I don't know.
Dave Winfield. Like, he may have been the best athlete of all time. Like, just nuts. Tony Gwynn. You think about hitting the baseball.
I don't even see your guy up there. I don't see you didn't put your guy up there.
Who?
Mark
McGwire.
You did not put
He's
McGwire
not top
up there.
20 baseball players of all time.
That bat?
If you don't mind what he took and everything, he's the greatest home run hitter ever. Per at bat, like I think it's 1 every 10 at bats. He's the best home run hitter ever. If you don't mind him that he never broke an actual baseball rule, and then whatever he took was legal, then
that's the same argument that you have to say with A-Rod. Everybody's going to bring that up. And are you okay that Pete Rose got caught basically betting on games?
Right.
I mean, it's all opinionated, and I don't care. That's me. I don't care. I'm not one of these funny buddies that's like, oh, they did steroids.
Right.
Even though
I think
they're a great
McGuire's
ball
close.
player.
I'll put him on the
Honorable mention.
honorable mention. You know, I don't know. He didn't get the 600 home. Well, he did he? I'd check that. I'm on the all-time hits list right now. Paul Molitor's on here.
Ichiro's close.
Eddie Murray, Ichiro. Adrian Beltre's closer than people think. Like, he's on a lot of these lists. Like, a lot of these lists. Squire's defense wasn't terrible. I don't know, Hunter. He's close. So, like, if he would have hit 300 a lot, it would be different. Like, he
Do
didn't.
you put
Frank Thomas?
Yeah,
Frank Robinson.
Do you put one of the two Boston boys in Manny or David?
I think Manny way ahead of Ortiz. So I'm definitely going to put Manny on the honorable mention. Reggie Jackson,
Mr. October, yeah.
Schmidt has been considered the best third baseman of all time up until the last few years, and especially when A-Rod and Ripken ended up moving over there. So people started talking and changing their minds a little bit about that. The 600 home run club's only got 10 people in it. Bonds, Aaron, Ruth, A-Rod, Pujols, Willie Mays, King Griffey Jr., Jim Thome, and Sammy Sosa. Albert Pujols is about 50 away somewhere. No, he's already in it. Never mind. He's already in the 600s. He's 40 away from 700 is where he's at.
I think that's...
Miguel Cabrera, Vladimir Guerrero.
Do we put Chubb?
Who?
Or Pudge, sorry. Do you put, I say Chubb? Do you put
who did I
Pudge?
say? Vladimir, and who was the other one?
I don't...
I just
Do you
said
do
his
you
name.
put...
I'm thinking Pudge is definitely nominated. Mickey Mantle's a nomination. Pudge is a nomination.
Do you put Clemente as a nomination?
Talk about Roberto?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You got to look past it.
Maybe.
But-
You know, everybody wants to say he ended his career at 3,000 hits, but he played a long time. Like, it's not like he missed a few years, but looking at it and how many years he played, he didn't miss big numbers.
Mm-mm.
Like, it was tragic that he died, but I don't think he would have missed a lot of big things. There's your nomination for Chipper and Piazza. So we're going to come back to them. Baseball right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 11 for sure's.
That's okay.
Well, counting the pitchers, never mind. We've got 14 for sure. So, Hunter, our pace right now is 54 with the other sports to go. So, we're going to try to do 5 at these other sports.
Okay.
This should be easier.
Now,
We
when
think.
you say racing,
Yes.
is it all racing?
Motor racing.
Oh, okay. I was meaning, or are you just looking for NASCAR racers?
Motor racing.
Okay, because Lewis Hamilton needs to go on there.
Ooh.
He just won his 7th title.
Now, tell me who comes off.
Mario Andretti.
Hunter.
Mario Andretti.
Who does Hamilton replace on that list? I don't think anybody. Does Hamilton need to be the 6th? Or is there someone else? Is it a Schumacher?
I was thinking it was either going to be that or Schumacher.
Darrell Walsh
him or
Jeff
Schumacher.
Gordon.
You would put Jeff Gordon just for the wins, but I don't know.
Are you okay with those 6 without Lewis Hamilton? Or
No.
do I need to name Hamilton?
No. You need to put Lewis Hamilton on there.
All right.
He's a 7-time world champion.
We'll see where that ends up. All right. So we've got 7 racers. Boxers. Let's just name. I'm going to give you the Mount Rushmore of who I
this
think.
says fighting. It's not just boxers.
Right. You can name other people too.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. I'm going to name the Mount Rushmore of boxers, and we'll go from there.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Mike. Ali. Tyson. You gonna put Foreman?
I want to.
You want to put George Foreman?
I want to. But fans may disagree with Foreman as the 4th.
You know everybody's going to be upset because you don't have him on there.
I definitely want to have who Foreman. I don't
no,
think so.
they'll be upset you don't have
Evander?
Floyd.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm talking. These are the great. I'm looking for the right
Well,
now.
they'll argue because he's undefeated.
Well, first of all, he would get his ass whipped by any of those dudes if he fought them. So these undefeated middleweights do not impress me. They're the second tier.
Okay, so you strictly off heavyweight.
Well, if they fought in a real fight, who would win?
The heavyweight,
Okay,
obviously.
is anybody picking Floyd? Okay, Hunter. In 3 weeks, Floyd is going to fight Tyson.
What about the other Tyson?
Or Riddick Bowe or Joe Louis. Are you picking Floyd to beat them?
I'm just asking. What about the new Tyson?
What
about
Fury?
today's Tyson?
Shut
He's
up.
Two-time champion, two-time heavyweight world champion.
That's nice. So, Evander Holyfield could be nominated for that.
Yeah, but he ain't got an ear, so
Rocky Marciano could be nominated for that.
okay.
Undefeated, 47-0. He beat Joe Louis. Rocky beat Joe Louis. If Joe's on there,
Okay.
and Rocky's undefeated, Hunter. Let's go with those three for now, for sure. Now, do you have any lightweight people? We've got Sugar Ray.
You can put Sugar Ray Leonard.
Lightweights. Sugar Ray.
Go ahead and put Floyd on there.
Floyd. Connor. Fighters.
Oh, I thought you were still just doing boxers.
Nah,
I'm like, Connor's not a great boxer. He's a great MMA fighter. You put John Jones. You would put John Jones.
Okay.
And now you would have to put Habib. KH. No, that's not his spell.
Huh?
Okay. That's not. It's Habib. It's
You said Cubby.
yeah, but it's pronounced Habib.
Oh, Lord. Ali Tyson and Joe Louis. I'm just trying to think of another. You got to put. I want to put George Foreman, but we'll see. We'll go. We'll see. There's some nominations in the lightweights. Roy Jones.
Roy Jones Jr.
All right, so those are nominations. Fightings, we've got 3 for sure, and then we'll argue about the rest here in a little bit. Okay, Olympians.
Michael Phelps.
Okay.
Most decorated Olympian. Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson and Carl Lewis are probably 2 of the most decorated, if not best, Olympians ever. Phelps stuff is weird because you can swim in 9 different. Like basketball players don't get to win 9
Still
medals.
the most decorated Olympian, but
Right.
would you put Usain Bolt?
Yes. God, yes. If Michael Johnson and Carl Lewis are there, then
Usain Bolt.
yeah. He's nuts.
Isn't he? If you sit there and try to think about just
Right.
Usain Bolt, it's literally nuts.
Right. It's just for an example, running with what he looks like, Hunter, is the twins that I went to high school with. They had longer legs, 6'3", long, skinny legs, could fly. Right.
Yeah.
So we're running the mile in gym one day, and I try to keep up with the taller one.
Mm-hmm.
So he would take 4 steps, I would take 6. It's just, and that's what Bolt looks
That
like.
his stride length is
right,
ridiculous.
No matter how fast I ran,
Yeah.
I could not keep up with his strides, and he beat me by 6 seconds. And I'm just I couldn't possibly run any faster.
Now here's one that just depends. Would you put Jesse Owens on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you look up greatest Olympian?
Yeah, I just there's a list of the 10 of the greatest Olympians, and Jesse Owens' name.
The
popped
Olympians
up.
list is going to be bigger than some of these other ones.
Oh yeah,
I
there's
thought.
one that says the top 100 Olympic athletes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I could just scroll through this for days. Then
Try to keep it to American as much as possible. I know Bolt's not, but damn, he's
Bolt's he's an international superstar.
You're right.
For what he does.
Nadia Comaneci, of course, from the Russian gymnast with a perfect 10. Mark Spitz swimming.
Misty May Trainer and Carrie Walsh Jennings, the beach volleyball team for the United States, 3 gold medals.
Nah.
I'm reading this list. That's why it's so funny.
I'm gonna go no on that
Because
one.
it's so funny. We've sat here and we've talked about, the people that are these Olympic athletes, we don't even get to see them just on regular television outside of the Olympics. So
Right.
I can't.
How about Jim Thorpe? He was an all-around athlete in everything, football. He's going on something, whether he's an
Hold
Olympian
on.
or...
You cannot make this list and leave off Zhang Yining, the table tennis champion. Back-to-back gold medals in singles and doubles.
I can leave him off every damn list I want to. You know what she couldn't do?
At top of her game.
I'll tell you what she couldn't do. She couldn't beat Forrest Gump.
Damn. Forrest.
How is he not? Does he need to go down to our all-time Olympic athletes? He played football at Alabama. He was an Olympic champion.
Yeah.
All-American football player at Alabama and Olympic champion in ping pong, Hunter. Forrest Gump has got to be.
Forrest Gump.
He might be the greatest American ever. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
He showed LBJ his ass. He showed LBJ his ass. Jackie Joyner Kersey and Florence Griffin Joyner, FloJo and Jackie.
This
Joe.
list has got 1 Jesse Owens, Michael Phelps 2, and Usain Bolt 4.
Okay, Jim Thorpe's on here too, so we nailed some of them. I think we nailed the biggest ones.
Yeah.
It seems like there's somebody somewhere, like a wrestler or a boxer or something somewhere we may have missed. But I'm just flipping through the top 100 and. There's the Olympics is an international sport, so
yeah, there will be people that we don't know.
Right. So let's go. So the Olympians, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Olympians so far, Hunter. So we're right now, we are at 30 plus 40 is 70. Okay.
We got 3 spots. There are 3 more areas. You can put.
Well, we got way more baseball and football to get back to.
We can add that.
So,
yeah, you can put Tiger Nicholas, Arnold Palmer. Do you put Mickelson?
I don't like him at all personally, so I'm gonna say no on that.
It's a personal thing, so no.
I think, put it this way, there are players in the game who had a much bigger impact on the game. Bobby Jones, Hunter, he's pretty much like the Babe Ruth, where baseball wasn't. He invented baseball, he invented golf type of thing. Like it's hard not to put him on anything. You've watched the greatest game there ever was. Mm-hmm. And he won so many amateurs, so many everything, and didn't get paid for any of it.
Right.
And for his name to be on so many things now, there's Bobby Jones Golf. So I just
Gary Player.
He's probably in the Mickelson range, second tier. You know what I mean? Like it's not. See, I think Greg Norman was Tiger Woods before there was Tiger. So Norman was the long hitter, the young guy. He's got this. He's the shark. He's got a name, but Norman didn't finish and didn't win like Tiger did. So Norman is on that second list with me. Lee Trevino is probably on there. This one's got Gary Player 10th, Tom Watson 9th, Byron Nelson 8th, Arnie 7, Sam Snead 6, Bobby at 5. So just real quick, Bobby Jones won 7 majors. It says he's the ultimate asterisk in the records books because he won 7 majors despite being only eligible to play in 50% of them during his career. The Masters was not an event until Jones co-founded it in 1934 after he retired. So Jones did not compete after he retired. He never competed in the Masters. He did it on an exhibition basis from 34 to 1948. As an amateur, he wasn't allowed to compete in the PGA Championship. Instead, he played in the U.S. Amateur and the British Amateur, and he won 13 of those. Mm-hmm. So, back then, Hunter, being an amateur and a pro was a little bit different. You couldn't make millions playing golf, so like the baseball players and football players, you had a second job, and that's kind of what John was doing. In 1930, Bobby won the British Amateur, the British Open, the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Amateur, becoming the only player to win the Pre-Masters Grand Slam in a single career. It says he could have been the greatest ever if you look at it, and he played pro and got to play in a lot of those matches. Ben Hogan 3. I mean, it's tough to get with that, but I would go Tiger, Nicholas, Palmer. Bobby Jones would have to be my 4th, I believe, and we'll leave it at there for Goff for now. All right, hockey, Hunter. So we've got Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably going to spell that wrong. Is it Bobby Hull? Wasn't he the one he beat all his records?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure when it gets to hockey. I mean, if it's outside of Gretzky for the great ones, the only one I could say, and you could put him on there finally because it's got a championship, would be Ovi. Would be Alex Ovechkin.
So I got Gordie Howe, Lemieux. That was the big one I was thinking of. Lemieux back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What about, do you have Yager? Man, he's had the longest career in the history of anything. I remember when he was playing with Lemieux. So you got Ovechkin over Sidney Crosby?
Crosby doesn't have a ring, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Crosby has a championship.
I thought they got him one.
Maybe. Pittsburgh might have won one a few years ago.
Well, I'm going to give you, here's Bleacher Report's top 10. Sidney Crosby, 10.
Okay.
Bobby Hull, 9. Lafleur, 8. Messier, 7. Bellevue, 8. Richard, 5. Lemieux, 4. Bobby Orr, 3. Gretzky, 2. And Gordie Howe, 1. So I had Howe, Gretzky, Lemieux. I got Yager. They didn't have Yager on there. I can take Yager off. That's fine if he's not good enough. He should definitely be on this list if they didn't. And you said Ovi, so let's go with 3 for now and then work our way back. All right, Hunter, I'll let you handle this one. Soccer.
Oof, that's easy. Most Ballon d'Or awards is Messi. He's got 6. You need to put this how I say it. You need to put C Ronaldo. Like you need to put like C Ronaldo because there's gonna be 2 Ronaldos on here. No, like that's his first name initial and then it's Ronaldo.
Right.
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Okay. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyway, so that's what it is. Then you have another Ronaldo, and he is from Brazil. He's won a couple FIFA World Championships. The Pele one I'm okay with. Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are easily on there. This is where things get tricky, though, because Pele has the championships, or the World Cups, and Maradona has a World Cup, but Messi doesn't, and Ronaldo doesn't. But other than that, straight accolades and stats and just winning awards, Messi and Ronaldo are above both of them. Then you get to where it's like...
Give me your Mount Rushmore. Are those 3 on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who's the 4th one? Alexi Lamas?
No. Definitely not Alexi Lamas.
Why not?
It's
Is
tough.
it Maradona? What'd you say?
Maradona?
Maradona.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
It's tough for me not to put Ronaldinho because Ronaldinho was so good for so long for Brazil and for his time that he played in Europe. He was just so good for so long. And because it is such a global game, there are so many greats that I would not put a Landon Donovan on here, who would be considered the greatest soccer player in American history. But he's not one of the top 100 greatest athletes, especially in the soccer realm. Ronaldinho was twice as good as Landon Donovan wished he ever could be. Another one that I will personally fight to have him on there is David Beckham. And it's not because, people think he's just a pretty boy. David Beckham became a global icon.
All right, right. Okay, so, I was going to bring him up as a joke and fun. saying that if you were talking about popular, Beckham has to be.
He has to be on there.
He was the
but
he was the most popular guy in the world at one point.
He's
And
got
Hunter's
titles,
right. And
but
it
he's
doesn't have
got,
to do with his soccer though.
I know that's why a lot of people liked him, and because he married a Spice Girl.
Right. He's got abs.
And he's very pretty to look at. I understand. But he also has titles. He's won a Champions League title, which is the most coveted thing to try and win outside of the UEFA, or I'm sorry, the FIFA Euro Championship, which is what you would win for your country. He has the Champions League title. When he came to America, he won 2 MLS titles. He's got 6 titles when he played for Manchester United in England. So he's more than just his looks, all right? He was a phenomenal midfielder. A lot of people just don't give him credit. So David Beckham would have to make the list for soccer.
So Beckham's your 4.
On Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
No. I would probably put Ronaldinho on there.
So do you want him to put on our list of 100 greatest athletes?
You need to put Beckham on there as well for soccer.
Okay.
People are going to hate that because they're going to tell me all of the South American people. But if you just talk about who popularity-wise, I know how good Ronaldo was for Brazil, and I know how good at one point Lampard was for England, but Lampard followed in Beckham's footsteps. So there are so many players we could get. We could literally just have 50 of these be soccer players at one point. Even people are going to scream, well, what about Zlatan? And I'm like, look, Zlatan is a god, okay? There's nothing against Zlatan. Well, I'm talking about, like, these guys going forward, they are at the cusp of when you talk soccer.
All right, I'm going to go back and name one on the hockey. You got to have a goalie.
Okay.
Dominic Hasek. He was ranked number 1 on everything I looked at as the best goalie, and I think you got to have that. So some women tennis. We're gonna name some tennis folks to finish it up. And this is where the women really shine.
Yeah.
You know, you got to cut off somebody. So you got Martina Hingis. You got Navratilova. You got Steffi Graf. You got
Sharapova.
The Williams sisters. You got Sharapova, Billie Jean King, Monica Seles, Chris Evert, which started one of the biggest fights ever on TV with Jim. You ever seen that Jim Rome and Chris Everett
fight? That's so damn funny,
Jim Everett
too.
fight.
Yeah, he kept calling him the wrong name.
He was calling Jim Chris, which was a woman's tennis player. I had Steffi, and I would probably...
The Williams sisters are undeniable, both of them.
I don't know if Venus is... She wouldn't make top 4. That's the thing.
That's the most deadly duo combo there ever was, Serena and Venus.
That's as a tag team maybe, but like I don't think I could put Venus over maybe even Chris Everett, but Monica Seles is tough. Billie Jean is tough.
Now I'm just sitting here thinking of all the soccer players I could have put on there, but the list would have been huge.
If you're putting Beckham on the soccer player, don't we got to put Kornikova on the tennis? She got more eyeballs. She got more American eyeballs to watch tennis than any other woman in history. So Kornikova goes on the top.
Listen, people can sit here and just make fun of David Beckham because all they want to think of him as is a pretty boy. But if you look at his accolades, I mean, the guy he's proven. Yeah. He was good. He just happened to be a good, like how Ronaldo is. He's a good pretty boy. He's great at what he does, but he's a pretty boy.
All right, so last one I want to do before we start filling in the blanks is women's basketball, and I want to put
Sue Bird.
I want to put 2 people. No,
what?
No, I want to put 2 people in there, and that's it, and we'll go from there. And one is Cheryl Swoops, who's one of the, and I'm going old school on these, and that's Lisa Leslie.
I can agree with Lisa Leslie.
Now, if you want to name me. I'll let you give me 2 for a Mount Rushmore to be fair.
Sue Bird.
I don't want any less than 3 on anything.
Sue Bird.
So she's not even on this one's top 8 list. Taurasi's on here.
She's a 4-time WNBA champion. 11-time. 11-time WNBA All-Star.
What about Maya Moore, Tamika Catchings?
Oh, I liked Maya Moore. She was good at UConn.
Ella Delle Donne. Cynthia Cooper. Like,
Kayla Dawn is good.
Brittany Griner.
Yeah. They put Brittany Griner on
They
there?
put her at 10th. I think Cynthia Cooper. Swoops and Leslie's the ones I put on there for sure. Cynthia Cooper.
I just don't know how they don't have Sue Bird on there. She's 4-time NBA champion, 11-time NBA All-Star. She's got 2 NCAA championships. She's a 5-time Euro League champion, a 2-time Euro Super Cup winner.
So,
It's because she played overseas.
I guess.
5-time Russian National League champion.
So Cynthia Cooper, they started the WNBA when she was 34, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
She averaged 21. And get this, that's the best in history.
Really?
21. So they want to be paid the same as the male players.
I'm not going to
And
get
the best
into it
scoring
on
average
that.
is 21.
I'm not going to get into
I
it on
didn't think
that.
the best scoring average would be 21.
But I will say they need to remember that sports is entertainment driven,
That
and
too.
a lot of it is off revenue based. So when these female sports want more money,
You got to make money.
you've got to pull in the eyes and ears and the revenue, and then we'll start.
I mean, I
talking.
can pay me and Hunter all we want. We can pay each other $1 million if we don't have it, I guess. But how do you do that?
Yeah.
So here's what's interesting, dude. She won 4 straight championships and 4 straight MVPs starting at age 34.
She got to the party late.
What would she have been doing in her 20s? So she was always one of the ones for me was Cooper. Do you want to put Bird?
I do want to put Bird.
If that's your nomination.
I mean, I'm looking at this, and she's got gold medals representing the United States. I mean, the only one that she doesn't have was 2006, and that was a bronze. But other than that, gold.
we had
gold,
problems in
gold.
early 2000s.
I'm sorry,
in basketball,
no.
didn't we?
I'm sorry, that was World Championship. That doesn't count. The Olympic
14.
Games is gold, and gold.
37.
I mean, if you just look at all of her I'm not going to just say stats. I'm talking just championships, awards that she gets. So we always like winners.
Dude, we're
and
at
she's a
95.
winner. That's it?
We're at 95. That's it. I thought
Listen.
we've only got okay, so we need 5 people, right?
For what?
To finish the list. We got
Right.
95 people.
Yes.
But we've got nominations in football,
Yes.
basketball still, baseball, and fighting. And we've only got 5 spots to take unless you're going to take someone else off. So let's do it this way.
Well, the fighting right now, the only ones that you have,
I've got lightweights that we didn't add.
I know.
So I wanted to do
but the
4.
only ones that you have are all boxers. Ali,
did we not put the
Tyson,
other ones
and
down?
Lewis. You put
Oh, it's
the
lightweights.
lightweights down there. But to me, if you had to add somebody else that's just not a straight boxer, I would do John Jones.
Foreman, Jones, and Sugar Ray. That puts us at 98.
Because John Jones is arguably the greatest UFC fighter of all time.
So that's going to put us at 98.
Okay. And so from there,
the least number you had in the big sports was baseball, if you wanted to add one there. Or the one with the most nominations still left is football. So you're looking for 2 people, basically. And I'm just going to give you some names, Hunter. You write down 5 people that you think that probably should be on a list or whatever, and we'll go from there and see what we only need 2. So we got Ed Reed, the 2 Woodsons, Julius Peppers, Peyton Manning, Derek Thomas, Terrell Owens, Larry Fitzgerald, John Elway, Gale Sayers, Ray Lewis, Bob Lilly. Make sure there wasn't anybody else that I missed over there. Baseball, Cal Ripken, Ozzie Smith, Derek Jeter, Ichiro, Lou Brock, Mark McGuire, Frank Thomas,
for
Manny Ramirez.
baseball, I'm 100% okay with putting Ichiro in there.
What about Pudge?
Oh, he's so good, man. He was so good as a catcher. Jeez.
We got an even 100 right now, Hunter.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it. The question is, do you want to take any of the tennis people off or the Olympians it doesn't seem like we could have agreed on taking off anybody on the motor racing. Basically, I'm looking at there really isn't any Olympian people that I think have weak cases for top 100 would be maybe Arnold Palmer and Bobby Jones in the golf, but that we wanted 4. And I may have miscounted Hunter because there's a 4th one there on hockey. So let's make sure we may have to take somebody off for 100. So 4, 9, 13, 18, 22, 26, 32, 38, 45, 50, 61 plus 40. Yep, 101. So now we got to take somebody out. Oh, look in the basketball section, Hunter. There's 23 in there. That's got the most. It's probably your spot if you want to take somebody, or women's basketball. We try to do. We may have missed a sport. We try to do the main American sports as we could that we do. This is our 100th episode, folks. This is why we're doing this. And thought it'd be cool to put together the 100 greatest athletes in basketball, baseball,
You want to take
football players.
one out of basketball?
So fighters of all time, you're talking about all-time fighters. This has got Sugar Ray Robinson as 1, Anderson Silva 2, Bruce Lee 3, Joe Louis 4, Muhammad Ali 5, Tyson 6, St. Pierre 7,
George St. Pierre was good,
and Manny Pacquiao 8.
Well, I didn't think I'd hear Bruce Lee's name.
All right, Hunter, look at the basketball. Find me one that does not belong. Is it Stockton? I would say yeah.
Or is it Malone?
I would definitely take David Robinson over Karl Malone. Like in any type of game.
You
like,
would take David Robinson over Tim Duncan, too.
I personally would. Well, in the Olympics, Hunter, Robinson started at center, and Malone was not the starter at power forward. It's Charles Barkley. So, like, if he was that good, he would have
Does
started.
Isaiah need to be on there?
He's the best point guard ever under 6'9".
Magic.
Because you put him and LeBron, you put Magic and LeBron at the points for the most part, and Pippen, and put it this way: Isaiah Hunter was Kyrie Irving, but won 2 championships as the best player on his team, as really the only player on his team that's going to get you 20 a night. Think about if Kyrie won two championships right now, and he was the best player on the team. How would we look at Kyrie? Would he be on the list? Because that's the way you got to look at Isaiah. Like, yes, Stockton Malone made it to 2 championships,
But they didn't win.
Isaiah won 2 championships.
You could take Malone and Stockton both off.
That's fine with me. Let's take them both off.
So then that frees up one spot.
So now you're back to 99.
That frees up one spot.
There you go.
They weren't winners.
Is there a football player you want to add? We got to get it. I want to even 100. Or baseball. Is Mike Trout on it?
No. That's a dumb question. You didn't want to put Yadier?
No. He would make the top 100 Latin players, athletes of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he does not make the...
Football, where would we go with it, though? We've got quite a bit of offensive players.
Well, we were looking at the Woodson brothers and Ed Reed. If you want to do that, I would be in... Well, they're not brothers, but...
I know.
But you make a good point on Charles. He was the Heisman winner on defense.
Yes. He was. That's very tough to do.
So let's do that. I'll go Charles Woodson.
Okay.
I feel good. I feel you win the Heisman on defense, and one of the all-time best corners. That's okay with me. So let's do our numbers. Make sure we're right here. So let's see: 39, 40, 55, 62, 68, 74, 78, 82 plus 14 plus 18 is a 100, Hunter. So here is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Shock Joxx. Whether we're right or wrong, probably wrong than right. This is our 100 greatest athletes of all time on our 100th episode.
Man.
So let me go through them and read them real quick for everybody. Football: Tom Brady, Deion Sanders, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Jim Brown, Charles Haley, Randy Moss, Johnny Unitas, Dan Marino, Gronkowski, Drew Brees, and Charles Woodson. Basketball: Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, David Robinson, Charles Barkley, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Akeem Olajuwon, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, Isaiah Thomas, Dirk Nowitzki, and Dr. J. In baseball, Babe Ruth, Albert Pujols, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Ricky Henderson, Pete Rose. I about said Ricky Pete. They're right beside each other. Ricky Henderson, Pete Rose, Ty Cobb, Stan Musial, Alex Rodriguez, Willie Mays. Pitchers, Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson, Nolan Ryan. And then, of course, Ichiro and Pudge were our last two additions. Mario Andretti, Al Unser. And Unser's, I may have that wrong. If he's not the right one, there is another IndyCar person I wanted there. Then Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Petty, Jeff Gordon, and Alex Hamilton. Fighting, we've got Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Joe Louis, George Foreman, Roy Jones Jr., and Sugar Ray Leonard.
What? Roy Jones Jr.?
Oh, that's not Roy Jones.
No, that's
Jr.
John Jones.
John Jones.
That's John Bones Jones.
Got you. Is Kimbo Slice not make that list?
Oh, he was great.
Where's
You
Kimbo
ever
Slice
see
at?
his old backyard fighting
Yeah,
videos?
that's-
Oh my God, that dude
shit's
was an
crazy.
animal.
Yeah, it's crazy. We forgot Secretariat. Did you know
Oh, the
people used to
horse.
put them on there?
Yeah,
Like Secretariat, they had him like number 1 or 2 on the all-time athlete one-time list ahead of like Jordan or Ali, and people were like, "Shut up."
he was competing.
So then you've got let's see,
God,
where was I? Olympians: Michael Phelps, the swimmer; Carl Lewis, the athlete, not the singer; Michael Johnson, Usain Bolt, Jesse Owens, and Jim Thorpe. Golfers: Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Bobby Jones. Hockey: Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux, and Dominic Hasek. Soccer: we had 5: Pele, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and David Beckham. In tennis, I ended up with 9. The 5 guys I have to have on, or 6. I would say, Hunter, if people were going to take anybody off, they would kick Agassi off. But at one point, man, him and Sampras were the 2 biggest stars. Like, it wasn't even close. It was just the star of the sport. Steffi Graf, Serena Williams, and Martina Navratilova. And women's basketball, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, and Sue Bird. Nowhere on the list did we have a Hastings or a Yancey. I can't believe that did not happen.
we could put them as all-time podcasters.
Honorable mention: Hunter Yancey, Kevin Hastings, and Armani Edwards. He's got to go honorable mention something. Whether he's 1,000th, 1,000,000th, or whatever, Hunter, he gets honorable mention for life. For life.
Well, another thing we did also is for football, we really only considered professional. We didn't talk college.
Oh, God.
You know, we didn't bring up the Herschel Walkers and the Tim Tebows but that would be the greatest 100 college football players.
That would also, Hunter, we didn't bring up Kyle Busch's minor league streak either. So
Hey.
college football is minor league football.
Eh.
Remember that.
Eh.
It's minor league football.
Nah.
And if kids from, Bandy's high school can't manage to tackle Herschel Walker, it's not Herschel's fault.
Meh.
Yeah. All right, I've had fun with that, Hunter. I know you didn't expect that or whatever.
Didn't expect
I'm
it,
glad
but we did it.
I was wondering if neither one of us had to really skip too much. I didn't, I named Pele in soccer and then asked questions. And of course, Hunter's, not that big in racing. And maybe golf as well. But the rest of the stuff, I thought we'd do a pretty decent job. I think we did. If we missed anybody, I'm sure it's nothing that's surely won't hurt anyone's feelings. I'm sure the Trout fans, they quit watching whenever we
Long time
got
ago.
through with baseball.
I'm
and
pretty
didn't
sure
get
they
him.
stopped watching after the first week.
For you counters and you Trout fans, I had 16 people not named Mike Trout ahead of you. Just damn silly. Like I said, the Mount Rushmores that I've been alive, baseball, I would say Pujols, Griffey, Bonds, and who was the other one I said? Pujols, Griffey, Bonds, and A-Rod are the best basketball players. My I would say my Mount Rushmore of basketball, Hunter, since I've been alive. Oof. Now that's kind of tough. Because I don't know whether to put Kareem on there or not. Because I was the last 5 years of his career basically when I was born. So I don't know if he would consider that. I would probably definitely have Jordan, Olajuwon. God, that's tough. The rest of them are kind of hard. Maybe Kobe. Probably Bird and Magic. Maybe Magic, Jordan, Bird if I get to count them. I mean, they started basically 2 years before I was born. And does that count?
Yeah, sure.
I guess the 80s.
Yeah.
I guess. LeBron fans would say, where's he at? Listen, I've made the case and can make the case that Ginobili had a better career. If I can even bring that up, Hunter, the fact that I can even make that argument should just warn you, hey, let's not talk about him with Jordan.
Let's not.
They were talking about Durant and LeBron the other day about whether, and some people say it's not even a comparison, but how is that? Because Durant, both times he's beat LeBron twice in their primes, right?
Yeah.
LeBron beat Durant when Durant was a baby, 22, 23, something like that in the championship with Oklahoma City. So playing on the court, Durant's 2-1 against him. All right, let's think about that also. Don't the Spurs have 2 championships against LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Durant averages 27 a game, and so does LeBron, basically a half point ahead of him. But LeBron's 5 years older than Durant. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even it's not as close as we think it is. So like, he's gonna have LeBron with today's. You think he plays till he's 45, Hunter? Like, where does he? Does he get to the point where he tries to chase all these records like he is with these rebounds and assists? And I think he's just trying to amass so many stats because you can't beat 6-0. Not when you've lost
It's
six
tough.
times.
No.
Not when you've lost 6 times.
News coming through about an hour ago was released. Quarterback Drew Brees, multiple fractures on both sides of his chest and a collapsed lung on the right side. So
Yeah, it didn't look good when he hit.
No.
Does that mean he's out?
Does that mean he's out?
Is that day to day?
If I had to guess, yeah, I think that means he's done.
It ain't gonna be wild when the Bucks win that division and got swept by the Saints. Because Jameis is about to come out here and unleash hell.
Damn shame. Jameis about to go off.
Jameis is about to come out here and unleash hell. Well, that's it for our top 100 list of the day. That was fun. But it is our 100th show. We want to thank all of our viewers and all of our listeners that do tune in, that especially our regulars that can make it. You guys are the best. And like and share. Please share to your feeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your profiles. Let your friends know. This is a fun sports show. We're not here to hurt anyone's feelings.
No, not at all. It's all for fun.
Or be silly or stupid or anything. But anyway, we named the top 100 players of all time today. That was or of athletes of all time, the best we could. That was pretty fun. Click on what else is coming across the boards, Hunter. This is our Monday. Normally we do college football stuff and some other things and get into it, but we thought we'd do something a little special today.
Other than just Chris Paul being traded to the Suns,
okay,
seems like that's about it, really.
So Wednesday is the draft, right?
Yes, Wednesday.
So Wednesday we did our mock Saturday. We'll do up to the minute mocking the best we can. We'll mock ourselves. We'll wrap up some of the NASCAR season that just finished last weekend. We didn't get too much this week. Hopefully Zach will be in here this Wednesday. He is a little sick last week. And then we'll have previewing the Hornets draft, see if they messed that up. We can talk NFL power rankings. Hunter, your Redskins got beat by the Lions. Or no, you don't have Redskins. You have a football team. Your Maryland football team got beat by the Lions. Did you?
Yeah.
That's nice. But all right, let me click on my ESPN. You said so. You got Paul. Brees has fractured ribs. Porzingis is to miss the start of the season. I think a lot of players are going to do that.
Yeah, I read on Twitter too. People are interested in trading for Dallas's 18th pick. I don't know why. I mean, outside of the top 5 or 6 players, they're just kind of trying to fill depth.
So Hunter said earlier the NCAA is looking at holding the entire tournament in Indianapolis, you said?
yeah, well, I said that before the show started. NCAA is looking at holding the March Madness NCAA tournament in Indianapolis. That means there will be no regional games. You know, some played at Greensboro, some of them played in Atlanta. Everybody's going to be in Indianapolis. I have no problem with it. They're obviously going to try and make as much of a bubble situation as they can. Totally understandable. And you know what?
Is it going to be 64 teams? Or are they going to do 32? 64 teams is a lot to put in one spot.
Indianapolis.
32 is a lot to put in one spot.
Indianapolis. Yeah. Think about it. You'd probably have them playing at high school gyms. Trying to, what are you gonna do?
What is the strategy?
Like you're gonna put multiple courts in Lucas Oil?
I mean, how many games can you play a day, starting at 10 a.m.? Would they start at 10 a.m.? Would they start at that early?
They'd have to probably start at 9.
Where do they start normally in the tournament? Is it 10 or is it noon?
I don't know, because think about it. That you got now you have
remember.
everybody in one spot.
That's my thing. Like,
well, what they would have to do is they would have to hold it at local colleges too. They would have to maybe have a main stage for maybe some of the bigger, more marquee games they're going to play at Lucas Oil, and then after that, the Final Four. But other than that, everybody would have to play at colleges like Indiana.
Really, if they
Notre
wanted to,
Dame.
Hunter, why don't they just put 2 courts at Lucas Oil?
That's what I'm saying. You could have put multiple courts on Lucas
and a
Oil.
curtain across the middle, because that's what the Alamo Dome used to be, where San Antonio played. Was they played in half the stadium? They just put a big giant ass curtain in the middle, and then you could play 2. Yeah, that's not for us to figure out. It is weird though. Like, or I guess our question is: are you going to do 64, or is it going to be a 32 type team? Maybe 60. What if you do the first 2 rounds, Hunter, at home?
They'll just have stuff. They just have stuff they have to figure out. They really do.
Yeah,
they really do.
Yeah,
because logistically, like I know what they're wanting to do, bubble situation, because the NBA made it work.
right. But that was with what, 16 teams?
Yeah, not
or 20
60,
tops.
and that
22
was
to start.
with, not 64 college teams.
Aren't these kids supposed to be like doing college schoolwork too in the middle of March or April? Maybe, or that doesn't quite. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about that. No.
Well, I tell you what, they've got some things to figure out on that. Okay, again, folks, tune in Wednesday. We'll have live. Not live. We'll be live, but we'll be talking Hornets basketball. I want to make sure I'm pulling up my Twitters for everything else. Breeze with a collapsed lung. I don't know how. It sounds pretty damn serious, Hunter, but
says optimistic recovery would be 2 to 3 weeks.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Optimistic recovery.
Okay.
That's as long as there's no complications and everything's going according to plan.
So, have they? I don't know.
So Jameis will be under helm for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
or no. Taysom Hill. He's getting paid 10 times what Jameis is getting paid.
I know, but when Breeze was out, they didn't let Taysom go under center starting, did they?
No.
Exactly.
I was trying to find this. I don't know if I can get it up on my screen or not. But Hunter, did you see the Butler Texas Tech television screen?
No.
Camera. I can't get it up, but it's not showing. I wouldn't know what to search, but this was on a tweet, and I didn't save the tweet, and I should have. I'll try to show it to people at home. So when Butler plays Texas Tech, Hunter.
That's Baylor.
Baylor, not Butler. Yeah, that might be the problem. Why I didn't get that right. Let me type Baylor in and see what happens.
That's Baylor. Oh boy.
Jeez. Let's see. I wonder if it'll come under artwork or not. I just typed in art. I doubt it comes up. I'm going to have to show the screen anyway. All right. So Baylor versus Texas Tech. Well, this will be a good demonstration. Perfect demonstration of what I'm trying to say.
It's butt.
So on the screen, Hunter, on the score, this is what it said.
But
Get into my camera. BU over
But.
at TT. So Baylor at Texas Tech
it's butt.
is butt.
It's butt.
I told you we would get to some classy radio and podcasting here in a second. We'll leave you with that, folks. Have fun watching butt on Saturday afternoon.
Oh God.
In November. I'll explain something to you in a minute. Hunter, on a punt, do you know what Peter means?
Get out of the way.
Yeah, that's what it means, but I'll tell you why in just a moment. We'll be back on Wednesday on KTCBroadcasting.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching on Facebook and YouTube. Mark Schlereth said it 1,000 times the other night, and the other announcer, I think he knows what it means. He was trying to avoid the conversation. We'll see you guys on Wednesday, KTCBroadcasting.com.
I am the incredible man. I only